January ad rate drop can feel very difficult to go through and can be very worrying for you. So if you do have any questions, please do reach out to us and ask. We're here to help you. One of the things that I wanted to take you through today was the online ad revenue index, which is a global aggregate of online ad rates day by day. And this helps you to see that the January ad rate drop that you're experiencing is totally normal and happens each and every year. What happens is that at the start of January, advertisers pull back on their ad spends because they know that consumers aren't spending quite as much after spending a lot in the lead up to Christmas and Thanksgiving, and they're re-reviewing the past year's advertising campaigns, how it worked for them, before they then start to set up the advertising spends going forward. Hi, Nitash Kumar. Welcome to the session today. If you have any questions at all as I'm going through the information, please do pop them in the comments box. We've got feeds coming in from both YouTube and Facebook. So if you put comments on there, the questions come through to me and then I answer them in the order that they come in. We've got 30 minutes together today. So I'll get through as much information as I can about this and also answer as much questions as I can. Today's focus is on Q&A, so I do put the prioritization on answering your questions. So if you do have any in our session today, please do let me know. Hi J5, nice to meet you. Okay, so what I'll do is while we're waiting for our first questions to come in, I'll talk you through the next step of the online ad revenue index. If you haven't gone to the ad revenue index before, then please do check it out. It's a really useful tool for you to be able to see what's happening globally with ad rates, and really useful for you to be able to understand with what's happening with your site. Is it local just to you and so potentially there's an issue, or is it global and just a natural part of the publishing space? So what we can see at the moment is ad rates are dropping off. Like I say, that's entirely to be expected. You can see if we look back over at previous Januaries, each January there is a drop off in ad rates, and obviously as the years progress, the ad rates do increase. And so that January drop off from December, there's a bigger percentage difference between the two. And that's why it can sometimes feel a bit more dramatic for you, because your December earnings have been higher than what they would have been in previous years. Now, it's difficult for us to be able to say what's definitely going to happen over the next 12 months. Obviously, there's a lot going on in the world, both politically and economically, which is having an impact on every single business throughout the whole world. And that's obviously going to mean that publishing and advertising is going to be impacted as well. We do suspect, and this is just a sort of educated guess at the moment, that the patterns and that the revenue is perhaps going to be similar to 2019, with a fairly flat year. We are hoping that Q2 and Q4 that there will be that same bounce back in earnings. What's really important to remember when you're looking at ad rates is that whilst the EPMV is low, there are ways that you can increase your EPMV by having a very well optimized setup, by using flickerfi and Humix and the grow and share functions together, but also by creating content in areas that's going to drive more traffic to your site. Because what's really important to remember is that if you're driving more traffic to your site, even though the EPMVs may be stagnant, by increasing your traffic, you'll be increasing your overall revenue as well. Imran Sati has said, hi, if Ezoic has its own CDN, can we remove our site from Cloudflare Does Ezoic CDN also provide any security? I'm asking as I had DNS problems in the past. Thank you for your question. And with that being a technical question and today being about ad rates, what I would recommend doing is if you're an Access Now publisher, reach out to our community, and that's community.ezoic.com. Our team of technical specialists will be able to help you with that. If you're a level 1 publisher or higher, please do reach out either through live chat or to your publisher success manager through your dashboard, and they'll take a look at that for you and be able to answer your question. I would recommend with that particular query going to our technical support team. They're specially trained in all technical aspects, so they'll perhaps be the best ones to help you with that. Okay, so no problem at all, Imran. You're so welcome. So let's look at different ways that you can increase your EPMV overall and help your revenue. So if we take a look at community, I've written a number of articles that can help you with this. This article talks you through about how you can optimize your site. And one of the first things to do, I'll pop that in the chat so that you've got that. One of the first things to do when you're concerned about your EPMV or your revenue is to make sure your Ezoic dashboard is well set up. And the reason for that is that once you've got a well set up Ezoic dashboard, that's going to help ensure that you're getting the best possible EPMV for your site at this time. This article takes you through step by step on the different things that you can do to get a well optimized site. If you do have any questions as you're working through these, please do add them into the comments of this thread. I keep an eye on this thread regularly. I work Mondays to Fridays on GMT time, so I'll answer that query for you just as soon as I can and help support you with getting the getting your Ezoic dashboard well optimized. Okay, so we've got a few questions coming in. Thank you so much for sending them through. So Paul Kimran has said, is Ezoic good for Nigerian traffic? Paul, that's a really hard question to answer because it depends on your niche, it depends on your volume of content that you've got on your site, it depends on the Ezoic dashboard setup that you've got, and it also depends on the volume of traffic that you've got coming in. So what I would recommend doing with that one, Paul, is this a new site that you're looking to add to Ezoic, or is this about a site that you currently have with Ezoic that you've got concerns about? If you can let me know in the chat, I'll come back to that question and help you with that. Sidoma has said hi Sidoma, welcome to today. I have encountering problems on the Google domain approval. Can you help me fix it? Yeah, sure, no problem at all. So with this one, what I would recommend doing is if you're Access Now, if you go to community and ask that question there, we can take a look at your site. The Ezoic team can see your domain name and can access your account. No one else can, so it's totally secure. Nobody else can, so you don't need to write down your domain name. We can take a look at that for you and then give you suggestions about the next step to take. If you're level 1 or higher, do reach out to the publisher success team through the ticketing system and they'll be able to support you with that. So Paul has said, I run an information site and I was recently hit by Google algorithm. I used Ezoic for 2 months and just recently removed it day before yesterday because I wasn't earning as I normally do. Okay, Paul, I can totally understand if you've been hit by a Google algorithm update, how difficult that must be for you. With the revenue that you're seeing, it's totally expected for you to be seeing less revenue at the moment, and that's because of the January ad rate drop. The ad rates at the moment are the lowest that they've been since 2019, and that's because of outside factors. All of the publishing space has been hit, just as all businesses have been hit by the social and economic and political factors that are impacting businesses at the moment. What I would recommend doing with that one is reaching out to us. If you're an Access Now publisher, reach out on community, or if you're with a publisher success team, reach out to that team directly. We can take a look at that for you and see where there are areas that you can better optimize your site or help support you to get more traffic to the site as well. Whilst we can't do anything about ad rates, what we can do is help you to get the best possible EPMV for your site at the moment. We do have a couple of articles in community that can really help you with that as well. So there's this one that I mentioned about how to optimize your site, and I'll also pop this one into the chat as well for everybody, which is about how can I increase my EPMV. This one is a step-by-step guide that takes you through, first of all, understanding more about EPMV, sort of the factors that impact it, and then also the steps that you can take to help improve your EPMV, both from an optimization point of view, but then also digging into your data, because with big data analytics, there's a wealth of information in there which can help you to understand which pages are currently getting the highest EPMV for your site, and then which pages are getting the perhaps lower EPMV. You can use this information to be able to plan your content around those higher earning EPMV pages, but also understand how those readers are getting to your site, so that you can then look at different ways to market your website as well. So I hope that helps, Paul. If you do have any further questions, do let me know. I'd be happy to help you with that. So Sidome has said, I have tried it several times. They told me to add privacy policy and about page. Okay, with that one, Sidome, it depends what reasons Google is giving you as to why they're not able to approve your site. If you feel comfortable to share the reasons, do let me know. But please be aware that obviously any comments you post will be public. If you prefer to, do reach out to me in community, and we can take a look at that for you. With the Google Ad Manager approval process, it is outside of Ezoic's control. It's all done by Google, and so whilst we can help you and support you in terms of guiding you, we can't influence that process at all. So what we do is, when we can know and understand the reasons why Google's rejected your site, we can then help you to try different steps to help get that approval process done. Okay, so Paul has said, the site has been working since 2015. I earned over $1,500 before the algorithm. Then I was averaging $600. Okay, Paul, so it sounds like a couple of things has happened. So before the algorithm update, it sounds like you had higher traffic coming to your site, maybe traffic that was coming from better performing EPMV countries, such as US, UK, and Canada. So with that one, that's one that we can really help you with, to understand what's happening, and then also give you suggestions as to what the next steps are to take. It's something we're really good at here at Ezoic, is looking at data, being able to understand it, and then giving publishers suggestions on the next steps. So I can understand how disappointing this all must feel for you at the moment. Please do reach out to us, and we'd love to help you with that and the next steps for you. So Paul has said, Ezoic I know is very good, but my fear is just the Nigerian traffic issue, as even Google doesn't even give good money for Nigerian traffic. Can I use Ezoic without Google AdSense? Okay, Paul. With this one, are you targeting Nigerian traffic to come to your site? Is it a website that's based in Nigeria or based on content that would particularly appeal to readers from Nigeria? And we can then take a look at that for you. In terms of using in terms of using Ezoic without Google AdSense, you don't have to have a Google AdSense account to work with Ezoic. You do need to have a Google AdSense Ad Manager account, and you need to be in good standing with Google to be able to work with Ezoic. Ezoic is a Google business partner, and we follow and abide by their rules. In terms of wanting to use Ezoic without AdSense, if you can tell me more about your concerns about that, I'd be happy to answer those for you. So you've said it's your niche is a top Nigerian information site. Okay, so I'm not sure I understand your concerns then as to why you're concerned about getting traffic from Nigeria, because obviously if it's a top Nigerian information site, then that would be where the majority of your traffic is coming from. In terms of your concerns around the money that you get for Nigerian traffic, that's going to be based on a number of different factors, and that's largely down to the type of readers that you're getting to your website in terms of the stages of life that they're in, and the advertisers that are wanting to put money on your site by buying ads space, but also it's about the length of time your readers spend on your website, the volume of content they consume within your website, as well as your optimization setup within your Ezoic dashboard. I work with a lot of sites that have traffic from India, and the EPMV for India is traditionally low, and that's for a number of different reasons. Partly because the traffic from India does tend to come in on mobile devices, and obviously mobile screens are a lot smaller, and so we can't put as bigger ads on the site as if the traffic was coming to desktop. So that alone impacts EPMV. So I'm not fully familiar with traffic from Nigeria, so I don't know if that is similar to what you were experiencing, but it might have been. And then the next thing to remember is that when you're attracting readers to your site, that sort of dictates the advertisers that are wanting to put ads in front of those readers. So I've seen some very successful blogs who have traffic from India, and they have EPMV of sort of $10-20, and that's because the type of readers that they're attracting to the site and the length of time their readers are on the website page means that there's different advertisers who are wanting to target that particular traffic, and so are willing to pay more to put the ad in front of that reader. And that's the same for every single country and every single reader. If your traffic niche is hard for advertisers to find, advertisers are willing to pay more to put ads on your site. It's important to remember there are two types of ways that advertisers know to put ads on your site. One's about the content that's on there. So, for example, if you're a clothing website and you're talking about a particular brand of clothing, and that brand is wanting to advertise, then the advertiser can target that keyword to your content. And also there's retargeting as well. So that's when a reader has been on a website before coming onto your blog, and that advertiser is wanting to retarget to that reader to get them back to the original website that they were on to finish their shopping purchase. So when you're thinking about content, it's really important to take both of these factors into consideration and to think about your readers and the type of content that they would be interested in, but also if you're looking to increase your EPMV, using big data analytics so that you can understand how that content is monetizing can really help you to build up your business from there. Okay, so Imran Satya said, let's suppose my website is in the clothing niche and I create an article which clothes to wear on a long route journey on an SUV. Does that mean that car ads can also be shown on the clothes niche website? Yes, potentially, Imran. As I mentioned, the way advertising works, it's partly down to the keywords and content on your website. It's partly about the readers that are coming to your site. And then it's also about the sites that they've been on before they get to your website. So it's not guaranteed that if you write about clothing on a long journey, in an SUV, that car ads will show, because if the readers that are coming to your site aren't in a life stage where they're buying cars, they won't have been on things like insurance websites or car dealership websites, and so those car adverts won't be retargeting to them. But potentially, because you're talking about SUVs, yes, an advertiser could potentially target that particular reader from reading that article. What's important to remember is that each different advertiser has different campaigns that they run throughout the year. So I'm afraid I don't know much about SUVs, so I can't really comment on where they're traditionally bought. But say, for example, SUVs are only bought between July and September each year. That this is just a random example. Then it's unlikely that in January that there'll be a lot of money put into SUV adverts, and it'll be more sort of June, May time when the money's put into that type of advertising ahead of the peak shopping period from them. So that's just a random example. So I hope that makes sense. If you do have any questions, let me know. Okay, so No Aim, No Shame has said, hello, Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you as well. In the real-time stats, I see that not all the traffic is monetized. Do some users not get any ads? Traffic is from the US. So no Aim, No Shame. Yeah, absolutely. Some traffic isn't monetized, and that's for a number of different reasons. It might be that it bounces straight off your website straight away. And so they ads just don't have a chance to load because the reader's got to your site, realised they're in the wrong place and has left. It could also be because of the restrictions that you have on your site. So it's worth checking things like the excluded pages app, disabled ads by page app, restrictions app, max ads per page app as well. Make sure that you haven't got heavy restrictions on your site that's preventing Ezoic from monetizing that traffic. And then also check underneath your content report for the pages without revenue. It might be in there that there's a number of pages that your site has objectionable content on or doesn't have any ad placeholders on. And then from that, we're not able to monetize that traffic. Okay, so our next question is from Paul Kimran. I also have a concern. Ezoic is serving old pages. When I update my content and I run a Google check on the search engine, I don't see my updated content showing, but the old content. Okay, so for this one, Paul, as No Aim, No Shame has said, thank you, No Aim, No Shame. Yes, if you go to Ezoic Leap and clear your cache, that will help your content to pull through straight away. Also, what you can do is set up your CDN manager within Ezoic so that as soon as you make even the smallest of change and upload it to your site, the CDN manager then runs checks and uploads and the new content to the web. So both of those suggestions were able to get that content straight through for you. So our next question is from Prone Sarkar, who has said, when will we receive the payment of December the 22nd on PayPal? Okay, so the way Ezoic works is that we work 30 days in arrears for payments. So any payments that you've received in December, or any revenue, sorry, that you've earned in December, that will be paid out at the end of January. We, on the whole, pay out, I think it's between the 29th and the 31st of each month. There has been a slight delay on that because of bank holidays over the Christmas period, but that should get rectified by the end of January. I don't think we have any bank holidays then. What's really important to check is that you haven't got your revenue limit or your payment limit too high, because if your payment limit is set at say $100 and you've earned $50, we'll respect your wishes and we won't make that payment out to you until you do get that $100 in earnings. And also really important to make sure you've got all your tax information filled out as well. We can't pay out the revenue until that's all filled in. Okay, so Imran Sati has said, thanks. Do Ezoic have any data or blog where it recommends at what time of year a publisher should change ads to revenue focused balance? As a publisher outside tier 1 countries, I do not have an idea of buying intent days of tier 1 countries, although majority of the traffic is from US and UK. So what we recommend with this one is it just depends on what your business goals are. On the whole, we recommend to use revenue focused in a limited way, and that is the 2 weeks before Black Friday and then the 2 weeks leading up to Christmas. Outside of that, we do recommend to be on balanced, and that gives you a 50-50 split between revenue focused and also user experience focused metrics as well. If you're a brand new site and you're looking at building your brand up and the revenue is secondary, what we recommend then doing is using the user experience focused settings, or if you are seeing any concerns around your user experience settings and you're on balance, switching to user experience focused can help with that. What's important to remember though, when you're looking at your big data analytics and you're looking at your user experience metrics, is that having a slightly higher bounce rate or a slightly lower time on site doesn't necessarily mean there's anything wrong with the experience your readers are having. It might just be, for example, that your content is content that people are coming back to time and time again, and so they're not going to secondary pages in your site because they're coming back to one page. Once they've consumed that content and are ready to sort of carry on with more information about your site, they may then come back and look at different pages again. If you do have any concerns about your user experience metrics, something definitely to reach out to the publisher success team. If you're Access Now, straight through to community, and we'll look forward to helping you there. If you're level 1 or higher, do reach out to our publisher success team through the ticket dashboard, and we can take a look at that for you and help explain it to you. So Zen of Donut has said, sometimes I don't see ads on my site. Is it because of browser cache? I don't think so. It does. There could be a multitude of different reasons why ads aren't showing when you go to your site. For example, as a publisher, you could be going to your site multiple times a day, and so the advertisers may have sent all the ads that they want to you as a reader. It could be that there's not enough ad placeholders on that particular website page. It could be that you've got restrictions on your site, like max ads per page app, ad restrictions, disabled ads by page. It could be that you've got objectionable content on that website page. So there's lots of different reasons. What I would recommend doing, Zen of Donut, is take a look at your big data analytics under content, and then go to pages without revenue. That will show you all the different pages that haven't earned any revenue at all. So it takes out the influence of your experience, and then from that you can then see where the problems might be. Take a look at those individual pages, make sure they haven't got any objectionable content on, check the different restrictions, and that should help you from there. So No Aim, No Shame has said, any stats how adblock affects earnings? Does Ezoic plan to make an anti-adblock plugin or something similar? So this is a really interesting one. If you're in the technology niche, the volume of ad blockers that your readers will be using is a lot higher compared to, say, someone in the food niche, and that's just because of the different personality and different ways of using technology. In terms of anti-ad block, there is a technology that we are have limited use on. So what I would recommend doing with that one is, if it's something that you are interested in, if you're an Access Now publisher, reach out to me in community, level 1 or higher. If you create a ticket, our team can take a look at that for you, explain the pros and cons around it, because obviously if someone has an ad blocker on, that's because they've made a conscious decision that they don't want to see ads, and so there is a downside to overriding that, and could impact your traffic. When we take a look at your data, that can help us to understand sort of what's happening and what are the best next steps for you. But that's a really good question. I haven't been asked that one before, so thank you for sharing that. So Paul Kinran has said, please, when do the live YouTube sessions go on? Like the time, so I can be aware and ask questions when I have one. Thanks. No problem at all, Paul. I'm glad you find this session useful. So what I would recommend doing is going to the Ezoic YouTube and take a look at the live sessions listed there. I've just got the ones up for this week at the moment, so there's another one tomorrow at 12. On the GMT time, I run live sessions at 9 a.m. Every Wednesday. So you're more than welcome to join me then. It's a really good session that we have together, and it's a very generic one, so you can ask any questions that you would like about Ezoic or the wider publishing space. So please do join me then. We also have US time zone ones as well, which is they happen at 5 p.m. on the GMT time zone, and all of those sessions are listed in there for you. So Paul Kimran said, is there a guide on how to use Flickerfi? Yes, absolutely. So if you go to the Ezoic support and type in Flickerfi, there's a wealth of information on there on how to use it. People that use Flickerfi and Humix, Engage and Share, they tend to earn up to 15% higher EPMV than those publishers that don't. So definitely worth getting into that one. Flickerfi videos can also add a multimedia aspect to your site, which Google reportedly likes. Can help with user experience metrics as well, and also getting traffic to your site. So there's a multitude of different benefits to creating Flickerfi videos. So Zen of Donut said, on my Ezoic dashboard, I have a 15.4% cache hit rate. Is that a good or a bad thing? So it sounds very low to me, that cache hit rate, Zen of Donut. What I would recommend doing is, let me just see if I've got the article up. Yeah, let me just see if I can find it for you. Bear with me. There's this article which is called How to Improve My Cash Hit Rate. I would recommend working through that one. That's a step-by-step guide to take you through how to set up your cash hit rate to get a better score. Also, as part of that, I'd recommend setting up the CDN manager so that this article also takes you through how to do this here as well. When you've got the CDN manager set up, that automatically clears your content every time you update it, and then you can save your clearing of your cache, so that helps with your cache hit rate as well. So thank you everybody so much for joining me today. I've really appreciated all your questions. We do have another one of these sessions at 12 o'clock GMT time tomorrow. And that again is focused around January ad rates and also what you can do to improve your EPMV at that time as well. So do join me then if you have any more questions. I'd love to help. Take care, everybody. Thank you. Bye for now.